Howdy folks, how are you today? It's Friday. Took the day off because, well, I ran the truck 6 days straight. And I need to do a few things to the truck. Check the lubes, stuff like that. And I've got a leak that is in the 13-speed splitter, the valve splitter, that's coming out the back. And usually it's just the exhaust that will kick out. Well, this thing is just douching air out whenever it's not in high range, and I've got to get that taken care of, and it doesn't look like it's new. Let's go out there real quick, but first I'm going to give a couple small channel shout outs that are people that follow me. Three Angels Diesel has a 1983 K100 just like the blue truck, and I believe he had messaged me before on Instagram and said that our VIN numbers aren't too far off. So I think within 100, I can't remember exactly. So go over and check him out because he bought a truck, is fixing it up, and is now working it when he can. And another follower, subscriber is Marco Polo. I believe it's 286, has a 1984 International Cabover that he had bought and is working on and fix up. And he comments on the channel all the time. So go over and check him out if you haven't already. So, give them some love, show them some support, subscribe to their channels so that way they can get a little bit bigger because they're smaller. And, they're putting stuff out there too, what they're doing to cabovers and trucks. So that'll be cool if you can do that. Support your local cabover owner, K100, International, whatever, Freightliner, doesn't matter, because that's always good. But another question is, what is everybody running in the wintertime for anti-gel? I use the Power Service here, and my buddy swears by the House, but I just don't seem to like the way the engine sounds when I mix the House in. And who knows what, it's getting the wintertime, and the fuel stations, when I went in yesterday to fill up, or maybe it was Tuesday to fill up, I seen they had a big old box, a pallet of boxes set up that was anti-gel. They were mixing in the fuel, and I know they mix with the fuel in the wintertime when it starts to get cold. And I usually don't put anything in until it gets around 16 degrees outside for the anti-gel. But I do plug a truck in, whichever truck I'm running in. That way it has it. So I'm curious about that. And yeah, I've talked about this before. I always use this. And I picked up a couple of other things when I was over at the store, because I get my stuff from Menards because it seems to be the cheapest. I got some oil stabilizer Lucas, and I also got some engine oil stop leak if I have any spots that's leaking, because you always need to throw some things in. And I've also got a thing of mothballs here that I picked up because, well, who doesn't need mothballs in their garage? I was smart the other day. I called up because I was talking to a buddy of mine, Otto, which was just on the channel last week during the blizzard, and I talk about him frequently. He was telling me that some of the guys that he knows can't get filters for their trucks, for some of the newer trucks, the dealerships and stuff like that just can't get the stuff in. So I run Napa filters on my trucks because I have an account with them and I could get them for super cheap. So that's what I run because, it's convenient for me to get them from them because they're right down the road. And like I said, I can get them for super cheap. And if I need to swap them out, it's no big deal for me too. So I bought two of them. Looks like this is a 1792. I believe that's the oil filter. I've got two fuel filters, which is the 3384, and then I picked up two coolant ones that are the 4071, which the blue truck takes a 4072. That's a Cummins. That Caterpillar takes a 4071. I'm not sure what the difference is. Maybe the threads, who knows? But Lil Werner's mixer there. So let's go out here real quick and we'll talk about what I'm going to get into anyways today, because besides, checking the fluids and stuff like that, the truck's been running pretty good. Had some issues though with this 13-speed valve splitter. When you hit that thing, it's just supposed to douche out some air here and there, but nothing major. But this thing is losing air completely, and I'm not sure what's going on with it. So I'm going to probably end up taking that thing off. And I have a seal kit in there for a valve splitter. that I had from when I bought a conversion kit from a 9-speed to a 13-speed. They sell a kit, Eaton does, for that I never used. But I do have the O-rings, seals, some lubricant and stuff like that. So I'm going to be getting into that in a little bit. And I'm not sure if I pull that whole thing off, if I'm going to lose all the oil that's in that transmission. That's a question that is going to be answered here shortly when I break some of those 1/2-inch bolts off and see what's going on. But I do have a new paper gasket seal if I need, and I have a whole nother splitter valve cover in there, but I don't think it'll work with this setup, and I'm not sure if this thing was ever replaced by the way it was painted over, because I think that thing would probably be still clean. So it's what it is. Well, let's jump in the truck real quick and I'll fire it up and I'll give you an example of what I'm talking about by just douching the air out. I use that term loosely because it's a word that we're going to use. It's 40 degrees out right now, and I didn't have the truck plugged in because we ran uptown and didn't even think about it. So it's basically a cold start. So we'll see how she goes. Get that heater kicked off because we don't need it on right now. It started. I'm sure it didn't like it too much, but you know, it started. So let's get out real quick, and I'll let a little bit of air build. It's not going to take a bunch because it'll start douching out as soon as air starts to go in there. I can tell you that much right now because it always does. And you'll be able to know what I'm talking about. So when I'm going to drop and stuff like that, a little bit of smoke out there. When I go to drop trailers or I'm bobtailing around or anything like that in low gear, I'm just losing air constantly. So that's what I have to take care of, is that. That way when I'm in low gear or anything like that, I'm not losing air, because the only time that it seems like it's not douching air out and I'm losing air is when it's in high gear. So let's give it a minute here and we'll probably be able to start hearing this piss out. Sometimes when I'm at the ramp, I'll climb down there and I can shove my finger up in there. Remember I talked about that high-pitched whistle? That's what it was. So we'll see if it starts happening or not. And I'm in need of another part too, and I've sent out the bat signal. Let's go over here so I can actually talk, and then I'll bring you back over since that motor's kind of loud right now. But I need the Cablecraft housing for the shifter, the cable shifter, and I've sent out the bat signal. I contacted Cablecraft. They don't distribute to me personally, but they have a distributor which is Tuco, and I've also contacted them and didn't really get anywhere because I couldn't find the part number. And then when I talked to a guy down in South Carolina, which that's where that part was made at in 1989, he had seen where the number was from a picture that I had sent him, and I was able to sand down some of the paint and get the whole number for him, and he said I could get it from Tuco. But I called up the Kenworth dealership and even talked to them about it. They took the bin, they looked it up, and they said that part is no longer available. But I know they still make those for down in Australia, because when I talked to the guy from South Carolina, he said they still make those and send those down there. So, okay, now it's starting to piss air, so we can go over here real quick. And I'll show you that part I'm talking about, what I exactly need. So let's get down here. We're gonna climb down here real quick. Is just pissing air out, and I put my finger over there and now it stops. But I don't want to have to get out every time and do that, and it'll probably pick back up and start pissing air, which I'm almost positive there's some O-rings that are bad, so that's what I'm going to be trying to swap out. But I'm wondering if I pull these bolts here, there it goes again, if oil's just going to start douching out of there. Hear that? not annoying. Cover that up again. And I can still feel it trying to push air out, and I don't think it's supposed to be right now. It might have a little release that's supposed to come out, but nothing major like what it is. Oh yeah, that's horrible. I'll get in there and shut it off here in a minute. Because that is just loud. Oh, baby. But this is the part I'm talking about from Cablecraft here. Well, that's enough of that. Let's turn the truck off real quick and I'll talk to you about that again. Because obviously, as you could see, and my ears are about deaf from that ringing, that high-pitched ringing that just was going on there. Ridiculous. And that built about 60 psi. But you can just hear that thing pissing out. So that'll dump all the air because of the way it is. But this part from Cablecraft, I called up the Kenworth dealership and they said it's no longer made. So that's what I am on because obviously you can see it's leaking out of the bushing over here. And this whole thing needs replaced because there is some heim joints that are on the top here. And one of them was rotted out, and it rotted that top piece that holds it on will pop up. So that's not good, and I just want to replace the whole thing. So, you know, and I've called around Judas Priest to different scrap yards, LKQ, Vanderhags, you name it, and nobody seems to have one. But I guess we'll see if I can still get one from Tuco or not. I even put out the back signal to Peterbilt Mike because I know he goes to a lot of scrap yards and sees these K100Es, and I thought maybe he might be able to go out there and snag one for me, but I haven't heard back from him, so we'll see about that. But yeah, that thing is just a pain, and I'm pretty sure there's an O-ring that is blown out on there or something. It just drives me crazy. Oh my goodness, sorry about that, folks. Let's go back in the garage here, and I'll show you the O-ring kit at least that I have, because that is horrible. Wow. So here's the kit that I got, and this is the different valve here for that, which I don't think that is exactly the same. I took it out there and kind of looked at them earlier, but here's all the O-rings that should go fine with that in that seal, and then some silicone lubricant that you can put in there and different stuff, because I had bought that kit and it doesn't have any instructions with it. So I guess that's something that I'm going to, you know, have to figure out on my own, because I have looked it up and I couldn't find anything on the interwebs, or yeah, that's ridiculous. But I tell you what I can do is flip that splitter into high range with air and it'll stop just like that. So there's no more. So basically, if I turn the truck off, it has to be in high range to where it's not pissing air. If I get out somewhere to drop and hook a trailer, I'll flip it into high range. Or if I'm sitting somewhere idling, waiting to get into a facility, flip it into high range so I'm not dumping air out like that. And that's just not driving people crazy. I mean, yeah, it gives attention to the truck, but that's not the kind of attention I'm looking for. So let's get out there and dig into it and see what's going to happen. I will pull a couple of the bolts and we'll see if we're going to lose oil or not. And we'll go from there, I guess. So until then, you know what we say. You know what time it is? We're doing it. So I just took off the bottom, that where that air was coming out. The P is what it would be called. That was on the brass fitting. And we've got here this little guy, which I replaced 2 of the 3 O-rings. This kit only had 2 O-rings in it that I could see, and I dumped the rest out here. So I had one that was ripped, and then I had one that was stretched out. So I'm going to go put that back in. I'm going to throw some of the lubrication on there and shove that back in, and I'll fire it up and see if that will help it. And I guess we'll go from there. And then I'll start, you know, taking everything off, the airlines off and stuff like that, and getting in there, and hopefully we don't leak oil. So we'll be back with that when I go to do that. But I'm going to go throw this back in real quick, and I've got to climb under the truck and be able to shove this in there. So I'll go do that. And hopefully that's what it is, because that would be nice if it's just those O-rings right there and I don't have to take that whole component off and see if oil's going to spill out. But like I said, I do have this gasket just in case, but I'll have to get a bucket down there to catch all that, and then I'll have to dump all that fluid back in, which I'm really not wanting or trying to do today, if you know what I mean. So we'll see. Well, I got that thing back on. As you could see, I had to climb under the truck and do that. And I put some of that silicone stuff, that whatever, from eating, and that stuff's super tacky. So let's see. Let her build some air here for a minute. And I have the valve open because as soon as I pulled that off, it was just dumping air. Let's close that off. Flip these splitters down. That way they're not up, because they don't need to be. And we'll see if that thing pisses air. And God, please Lord, that just be it. Those simple, small O-rings, which I can get from anywhere, would be fantastic. If that's what it is. But we'll see. I think I can hear it. I don't know. I know this thing don't have any air yet. Down there and reach and feel with my finger, feel anything. Well, I guess I'll let it run for a minute. And yeah, I got to put the fluid in that rear diff there, the front rear diff. Gonna need to get some seals here and change those out, because I noticed a leak in the back where the pinion's at, pinion seal, whatever, front rear differential, pinion seal, I don't know what they call them. I looked them up, DS402s. They went to some new crap in '89, which this is a '90, so I guess we'll see. I gotta call and get those taken care of, but my main focus has been that shifter thing with that leak, and the fact that that is off the hinge joint. Not cool, but I know you can get a rebuild kit, because I did put that out on the Facebook K100E group to see if anybody knew where I could find one. Luckily enough, a gentleman commented, said Cablecraft, and then somebody else commented on it after that and said that you know, you could get a rebuild kit, and he even showed me the rebuild kit with the numbers. So if I have to go that route, that's what I guess I have to do. But there's a piece of the cast aluminum that's broke off also at the back that we got just kind of jimmied on there, because, well, that's the kind of guys we are when we got stuff. Because we looked that up when I first had the truck over there for the transmission the first time, and mechanic Josh showed me, and he's like, yeah, you got issues. So we both got on our phones and started looking for that, couldn't find nothing. So that's one of those things. When I was talking to Mark down in South Carolina at Cablecraft, he said that You know, I told him, I said, even if I could find a new old stock one, that would be perfect, because I'd like to replace the cables and everything, because those cables are old. And you know, you can see the slop when I'm shifting from those cables being old. And I don't think that housing's bad, so if I had to rebuild it, I would, and I just, you know, do what I need to do with that cast aluminum. So we'll see. And that sounds like it's not leaking at all. So that might have taken care of our problems. That's what I'm talking about. Just the O-ring. Just the O-ring. Simple O-rings causing me problems. We are up to 60 psi right now on the gauge. So the sun is just killing you. High splitter. Okay, that exhaust is nice. Nothing. You can hear that. You can't hear a click engaging. Shut it off real quick. Let's see if we hear it. High range. Oh, the splitter doesn't seem like it's doing anything besides pissing a little air, which that's not good. I wonder if there was a spring or something that came out. I'll have to get down there and check, but at least it's not pissing air, so that's a good thing. So I'll get back with you, because I may need to take this down the road and see if that'll work or not. Fingers crossed. Get out of here, Sammy. So I put that valve splitter insert in backwards. That's why it wouldn't go into high and low range. Fired it back up, and the thing was still pissing air. So I guess I'm going to have to take that thing off and see if I can't replace some O-rings or something, because I don't know if that's supposed to be pissing air like that or not. I've got the truck dumping air right now. And I talked to my buddy Zane, and he said that he didn't think that I would be leaking air or leaking any oil, because he thought that it should be lower than, that's just that side piece that I dumped the air out with. It should be lower than the oil fill, or it shouldn't be any lower than the oil fill, which I don't think it is. So I'll probably unhook those air lines real quick and try to pull that thing off and see if I can pull that unit out and see if there's any damage or anything like that to it, since it's doing that, because, well, we don't want to be dumping air like that if we don't have to. And if I got to order a new one or buy a new one, I don't think they're very expensive. I think they're like $46 or $50, something like that. Nothing major to swap out. But yeah, that's what I'm gonna do right now. So we'll see. Well, I've got these airlines off, so let's crack a couple of these and see if we get any oil come out. Hopefully we don't. Got the top one and on that side, and that one cracked, and that one cracked. One more. All right. So those are all cracked loose now, and I don't see or feel any oil. And if I'm lucky, I'll just be able to hand loosen these the rest of the way out. I'm not feeling anything, so that's good. And if I need to, I do have that other one. I can try and put it on and see what happens. Worst case scenario. Which is a different kind. I don't know if this is an old style or what. But that other one should just bolt right up to it. The exhaust port's a little different though, and I will show you the differences once we get this one off and we can see what happens. But there may be an O-ring in here that's bad, which hopefully I have the right one in that kit. If not, I can always run to the Maynards if I need to, because they got O-rings and stuff. So there's one bolt. Let's set it up here. And there's the two bottom bolts, and there's nothing leaking out so far. And that thing just come right off. And there's nothing leaking out, so we may be good here for no leakage coming out, because like I said, I've never done this before, and I don't see anything online. I looked online, and I even checked the YouTubulator to see if there was anything, and I did not see anything for these. I seen different diagrams and stuff, but nothing on YouTube about changing these out, so I guess we'll see. Okay, there's that one. All we gotta do is get this one out. And you can look up different diagrams and stuff for this online. And that's just that. There is some oil in there, but nothing major. I'll probably have to, I don't know if that other one, I bet that other one was what's gonna cause oil to drop out if there's any. Because that's just that right there. And that's it. And that line goes in there. So I wonder if I can grab that other one and slap it on there and see if that'll fit. That's what I'm going to do. I'm going to go grab that other one real quick and see if it'll fit or not. Like I said, I do have the gasket if I need it. So we'll be back. So I've got this other one out here, and I'm going to try and hook this one up and see what happens. Because if this will work, then I'll just get rid of this old guy right here, which I don't know if that was the issue or what, or if it's more of an internal issue. And if I have to take this one off, I can, which I just slapped that other gasket back on there. And that other one I do have inside will work, so it'll be fine. But I'm gonna hook this one up and see if maybe it's just an issue in here, which it's just that in that valve. So I don't know. I just don't know. And I think I may have lost a bolt, which I hope not, because I don't want to have to. Nope, I got them all four on there. I don't want to have to go climbing under this truck if I don't have to right now, because I got to basically army crawl when I go in from the back, which it's not any fun. I can tell you that much right now. So let's get this tight and these lines hooked up, which is a pain in the butt. I can tell you that much right now, because that one line is just, you got to sit there and twist it. It's a swivel top, so it's not fun at all. And I'm not going to over tighten these, which I shouldn't need to in the first place, because when I broke them free, they were kind of tight. But once I, you know, figure everything out, and if it works, which let's hope it does, so I'll have to sit there and continue to mess with this thing, because I don't want to have to deal with this crap. I'll tighten them up just snug for me, and we should be good, because yeah, that thing didn't leak any oil, which is nice. And we'll see what's going to happen here. This one on the side is just a pain in the butt. Yeah, sit there and hand twist it and twist the coupler on the side here, because it moves freely. But yeah, basically got to twist this line while I'm doing it here. And I don't know if I'm in your way or not, and I'm sorry if I am, but it happens. So it's what it is. And we'll see once we get it all hooked up. I'll fire it up and flip it into the high range selector and see what happens if it pisses air. And I know I'm going to have to take this out and try to dig those other parts out if I can. And I really don't want to have to take that other piece off, because that other piece is probably what's holding all the oil from coming out. But it didn't look like there was a ton in the first place, and that's almost tight. So let's tighten that up. Get the old trusty 3/4 out here. Crank that line around because it needs it, because it moves freely on the other side, which I try to loosen that side up so I could just take this one off and not have any issues, but it just didn't work out. So we'll see. That'll probably be good for that right there. And then let's find our little airline. He's right here. So let's shove him in, and he's hooked up. So let's go and fire up the truck now and see what happens. Now that stuff should be good sitting there. It's not going to rattle too much. So we'll see. I think I got this line opened here, which I do, of course, because I dump the air every time to be able to mess with that and not have anything just shooting out at me, because we don't want anything just shooting out at us. So boom. Let's let her build air, and we'll come back and see what happens. Well, sunrise is just beautiful. Cotton candy, sweet as yo. Let me see the Tootsie Roll. Oh yeah, lovely. Just sun's finally coming out. Just out here messing with this truck still. Saturday, should be in it working, but gotta wait for my 34 hours to kick over since I got home so late on Thursday, and still wasn't getting that splitter to activate like I needed to on the high side, because you know I had put that newer unit on, and we'll go inside and I'll explain some things, but I had to put that new gasket on there, and what I didn't realize is there's a little hole on the side, and I got both of them sitting over here and a little heater on, so if you hear anything, it's this right here. Keep my hands warm if I need to. Where the line goes in, there's that little hole right there, and this new gasket didn't have one. This old one did, but obviously it's ripped, as you can see. My desk is a complete mess here, but whatever. So this morning when I realized that, I drilled a hole through there, and I'm gonna try this new unit, because this old unit here, this insert valve right here, I believe is what the issue is and why it's pissing air so much. And I did have it in there. I don't know if it's, you know, needs all new O-rings or not, and only had 2 that came in this kit with this guy. Okay, so I'd put them on, and I still had one of them old ones on, and obviously you can see that just peels right off there. So I've got issues with this one. It will work, but it still pisses air regardless. Even if it's on the high side, it's still pissing air, which before it wouldn't. So I don't know. So when I go to hook this one up, I didn't realize that these O-rings, maybe one needs to go right here, because when this gasket goes down, it's not enough to cover all of this when this presses up against the thing. And for some reason, every single one I've looked up, and I can only find this new style right here online, I cannot find these old ones, even though I've looked up the part number, which is right there. It's 4300927. I can't seem to find any when I pull them up. Well, I can find one. It's the whole cylinder on Fleabay for $285 versus these, which are about $50. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back out there again. I don't know how many times I sit there and try different things yesterday. You guys seen me putting this on, and I was out late, and I'm surprised. My wife, I just thought to myself, man, she is gonna kill me because I was outside so late. It was probably 8:45. It was dark. Well, it was 9 o'clock probably when I finally went back in, but yeah, it was frustrating because I couldn't get it to go into the high side regardless. I couldn't get those synchronizers to connect. So I'm gonna go try with this real quick and see if this helps out, because I'm thinking this O-ring's supposed to be right there, because every single one that I see has that little indentation there, and this one obviously, as you can see, is flat, and someone must have sanded her down and tried to get some goop off there. But yeah, like I said, I can't find these anywhere, and I don't know. It says P right here. Is it an 8? Yeah, it's got to be a P. I can't tell. The stamp is horrible. That's an 8. No, that's a P. So that would be that. And that's that. Maybe I need to move that over there. I don't know, because that cylinder would be up and down in that P. If that's a P or an 8, there's a P on this guy right there. So I don't know. It's one of them things that's complicated, frustrating, but we'll figure it out because we have to. If not, we ain't going in high side. So I'll be back with an update once I go do this. I'm not going to shoot, you know, I'm saying me doing that because it's like, I think it was 32 degrees when I checked earlier. I'll tell you in a second. Once I pull the weather up. 30. Feels like 24. So I'm just going to try to do this quick. That way I'm not out there dicking around a whole bunch, and, you know, you don't have to see me freeze. So we'll see how it goes. Well, after hooking that back up, we got it. And boy, was that a pain. I don't know if you can hear that click or not. In the butt. High range splitter. So I'm gonna fire this thing back up and run it down the road and see if it does what it needs to do properly, and I'll bring you back once I know if it does, because I need it to, because I can't run this truck in just high range at 58 miles per hour, if you know what I'm talking about. So I guess we'll see. Well, just got back from the ride, and it worked fine. Everything was fine. It actually seems like it's a little bit smoother than what it was before with that other one anyways. And you can still, you just get a little puff of exhaust when you hit that splitter now, but you can still hear a slight leak where that O-ring and stuff is at, because it's just not seating up the way it's supposed to with that gasket in there. I don't know. All those bolts are tight, I can tell you that much right now, which I say that I don't know how many times. But that's good. I know that's taken care of. I don't have that big ass dump like I did before. So at least I'm happy with that. And I will probably end up getting another gasket like the one in there that I showed you, because it's got the number on it. I've already looked them up. They're like $1 or something. I'll just have to call the local Defiance truck sales and see if they have one that I can get. If not, I'll get one from the KW dealership or somewhere. I'm sure somebody that sells that kit, or, you know, a kit like that, will have the right gasket, because it's a little bit bigger on the outside where the hole is versus the other one that was a little bit thinner. So it may let some air slip by because it just doesn't have the contact like the other one. And this was up in there like this. So this would be the hole right here. If you can see my finger where the port was at, and you can see how much extra is on that side in a rust line that's around it, because who knows when the last time was that was even changed. or if it was messed with at all. And those O-rings probably just went bad since it's painted over, obviously. Don't know why the power just kicked off on me, but it did, so hopefully I was recording all that. I'll have to check that out. But like I said, you can tell this is an older piece of equipment here, so that's fine switching over to that one. I just have to get the right gasket. It's a 17073 is what this gasket is, so that's going to be a lifesaver. But that switching that out already has made a big difference. So when in my book, it's just, you know, sometimes you got to figure things out if you don't know. Troubleshooting, because like I said, there's no illustrations or, you know, videos of how to install that online. There is diagrams and stuff, but they're not completely accurate on how that goes in there. You know, first time, 13 speed, new to me. Don't hate me too much. If so, oh well, whatever. But yeah, that's going to conclude this one. So don't forget to subscribe, like, share, comment. Go give Marco Polo 286 a shout for me. Three Angels Diesel also. Trucker Style Sean, Cash Truck, big time in it. James Pretty, you know, shouts to him. Always talking with him back and forth. So yeah, now all's left to do is wait for my hours to reset so I can get in that truck and start making some money. So until the next time, you know what we say, we will see you, and thanks for watching.